Everybody know my son King. He's a passionate young man.
You're very passionate.
Yeah, and he has some tumultuous times. But the Lord ain't through with him yet.
That's right.
Me? Yeah, and he get better every day and learn from his mistakes the same way any of us did when we was that age.
It seems the Harris family drama just took a turn no one saw coming. T.I., the self-proclaimed king of the South, is making headlines again, but this time it's got nothing to do with his music or his business moves. Nope, this time it's all about his son, King Harris. And let me tell you, the internet is absolutely buzzing with allegations that have everyone talking. If the rumors making rounds are even halfway true, it looks like T.I. might be considering cutting ties with King over some leaked pictures that have social media in a chokehold. Could this be the tipping point for T.I.? Or is there a deeper story behind the chaos that's shaking up the Harris household? Let's get into it and unpack everything going down. Now, here's a quick rundown on King Harris, the young man surrounded by his fair share of controversy. For starters, King Harris has stepped into fatherhood. That's right, he welcomed a son with his girlfriend, Big Nana, who happens to be significantly older than him. And as you might have guessed, this relationship is anything but picture perfect. Drama seems to follow King wherever he goes, and this situation is no exception. The internet is absolutely buzzing with a fresh batch of rumors, and let's just say they've got everyone doing a double take. To talk this time, a leaked tape allegedly featuring King Harris in some pretty compromising situations. Word on the street is that the tape suggests King might be playing for the other team, as some say, and this is where things take a turn into truly messy territory. But wait, there's more. Some sources are even speculating that the whole pregnancy situation with Big Nana might have been a carefully orchestrated cover-up to keep his true preferences under wraps. Let's face it, the relationship between King and Big Nana has been raising eyebrows from the jump, especially with that significant age gap. And now, with these new allegations surfacing, people are starting to question everything they thought they knew about this pair. When T.I. first announced that King was going to be a dad, fans couldn't help but notice his reaction, or lack thereof. Instead of the usual pride and excitement you'd expect from a new grandfather, T.I. seemed distant, maybe even disappointed. Some folks are now wondering, did T.I. know something the rest of us didn't? And just when you thought this family drama couldn't get any more complicated, here comes another curveball. Alongside the rumors about King's personal life, there's a growing buzz questioning whether King is even the biological father of Big Nana's child. That's right, speculation is swirling that the paternity of King's son might not be as straightforward as it seems. This whole whirlwind of drama kicked off when TikTok exploded with a video claiming that T.I. was furious over the results of a supposed paternity test. According to the video, the test revealed that King might not actually be the father of Big Nana's child. And if that wasn't enough, word spread that T.I. wasn't just upset, he was livid. It seems he's grappling with both King's life decisions and the fallout from these explosive paternity rumors. But just when it seemed like things couldn't get any messier, Tiny Harris, King's mom, jumped in to pour cold water on the fire. In classic Tiny style, she took to social media, posting a cheerful family photo featuring her new grandson. Alongside the picture, she took aim at the rumors, labeling them as pure clickbait and urging fans not to believe everything they read. Tiny even hinted that she's ready to take action against those spreading what she calls outright lies. As if the situation wasn't dramatic enough, King's big sister, Zonique Pullins, decided to chime in with her own bit of sass. In a sarcastic tweet, she wrote, "What street this word come off of, Chile?" A direct jab at all the speculation flooding the internet. Despite the family's united front though, fans remain skeptical. Let's face it, where there's smoke, there's usually fire, right? And the timing of everything feels a little too coincidental. Think about it. The paternity rumors, the leaked pictures, and the whispers about King's alleged secret lifestyle are all hitting the headlines at the same time. Is it all just a coincidence? Many fans aren't buying it. Some are now speculating that T.I. and Tiny's recent attempts to shut down the swirling rumors might have less to do with setting the record straight, and more to do with protecting King's reputation. Could the Harris family have anticipated that these tapes and allegations would eventually see the light of day? Were they scrambling to get ahead of the story before it spiraled out of control? Between the leaked photos, the paternity whispers, and the eyebrow-raising details about King's relationship with Big Nana, fans are starting to give this whole situation a serious side-eye. Some are even theorizing that King's relationship, and even his sudden leap into fatherhood, might have been a carefully planned distraction. Could it all have been orchestrated to divert attention from his true preferences, as some are putting it? And let's be honest, when rumors like these start spreading, they tend to snowball. It makes you wonder, did King's family know about these leaked tapes and messy allegations long before the public did? If so, were they actively working behind the scenes to shield him from the inevitable fallout? Or were they just crossing their fingers and hoping the storm would pass? Here's where it gets even juicier, because this isn't the first time someone's thrown shade at the Harris family. Remember when Kodak Black had that explosive feud with T.I. back in 2019? At the time, Kodak didn't just go after T.I. himself, he threw some wild comments into the mix that, looking back, might have been the earliest hints of the drama we're seeing now. Kodak Black crossed a serious line when he hurled homophobic slurs at I quote, S sons during an Instagram live session. In one particularly biting comment, Kodak said, "You should have made one of your little sons write a rap." At the time, most people dismissed Kodak's remarks as his typical trolling antics. But in light of the current drama surrounding King Harris, those comments are starting to feel eerily prophetic, like Kodak might have known something the rest of us didn't. Were Kodak's words more than just reckless insults? Could they have been a subtle warning about what was brewing behind the scenes? When Kodak went after T.I. back then, he didn't just question his rap skills or make jabs at Tiny, whom he crudely nicknamed Piggy. He specifically called out T.I.'s sons. That focus raises an important question. Was Kodak hinting at a bigger scandal, or was he simply being his usual chaotic self? Now that King Harris is making headlines over rumors about his personal life and those leaked tapes, Kodak's past comments seem less random and more calculated. It's almost as if he knew some inside tea but couldn't, or wouldn't, spill it outright. The timing of everything adds an extra layer of intrigue. Consider the timeline. Kodak's beef with T.I. erupted after Kodak made controversial comments about Lauren London shortly after Nipsey Hussle's tragic passing. T.I. wasted no time calling Kodak out, demanding he rectify his statements expeditiously. That's when Kodak went on the offensive, taking personal shots at T.I., Tiny, and even the Harris kids. With these new revelations about King Harris, Kodak's earlier jabs no longer feel like random trolling. But here's the jaw dropper. Kodak said all of this back in 2019, years before any of the current rumors about King Harris began making waves. If Kodak had some inside knowledge back then, could he have been planting hints, knowing the family's secrets might one day explode into the public eye? Was it all hidden in plain sight? Looking back now, it seems Kodak's fiery remarks weren't just random insults. They could have been a warning that flew under everyone's radar. He openly disrespected King Harris, throwing out insinuations that at the time seemed like reckless trolling. But with the leaked photos, whispers about paternity drama, and rumors surrounding King's private life, Kodak's words are starting to hit a little too close to home. It's not just what Kodak said, it's how the Harris family handled it, or maybe didn't handle it. Sure, T.I. clapped back with a diss track aimed at Kodak, but notably, he avoided directly addressing the slurs aimed at his sons. That silence has fans speculating. Was T.I. steering clear to avoid shining a bigger spotlight on the accusations? Could it be that Kodak, messy as ever, was hinting at truths the Harris family desperately hoped to keep under wraps? And if that's the case, why didn't anyone take those comments more seriously back then? Was the drama of Kodak and T.I.'s feud so captivating that people missed the bigger picture entirely? Fast forward to today, and the timeline is almost too much to ignore. Kodak's 2019 remarks, the leaked photos, and rumors in 2024. It's all starting to paint a picture of a family grappling with layers of unresolved issues, swirling secrets, and relentless public scrutiny. It's becoming painfully clear that the Harris family is deep in damage control mode, but let's be honest, the internet has a long memory, and skeletons in the closet have a way of clawing their way out. So here's the burning question. How did we all miss the signs? King Harris from the outside seemed to be living every kid's dream, a life wrapped in fame, fortune, and a seemingly supportive family. But surprise, surprise, reality isn't always what it seems. In a recent and shockingly candid revelation, King blew the lid off the carefully curated image of his life that fans were sold on VH1's T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle. He dropped a bombshell so big it's making people rethink everything they thought they knew about his upbringing. Behind the glitz and glam of the reality TV show, King's actual childhood couldn't have been further from the glossy portrayal. Turns out, he didn't even grow up in the luxurious mansion that viewers assumed was his home. Nope. King revealed he spent the majority of his formative years living with his grandmother. The family only convened at the mansion when the cameras were rolling, manufacturing an illusion of togetherness and a picture-perfect upbringing. "They'd come get me from my grandma's house for filming," King shared, "and right after the cameras stopped rolling, I'd go right back." Can you imagine? Fans who thought they'd been invited into the Harris family's real life were actually being fed a Hollywood fantasy. King dropped a revelation that flipped the narrative completely. In an interview, he opened up about something that changes how we've been viewing his life so far. He wasn't always surrounded by his famous parents for guidance. The reality, King spent much of his upbringing with his grandmother, and that absence of a consistent father figure like T.I. in his day-to-day life is painting his story in a whole new light. Living with his grandmother meant King didn't have T.I.'s direct influence or presence for much of his formative years, a fact that feels especially critical given the swirl of controversies and rumors around him now. Without a steady hand guiding him, it's easy to imagine that King struggled to navigate deeply personal matters, like the whispers about his preferences, or even figuring out his identity in the shadow of his father's towering public image. While his grandmother may have provided love and stability, let's be real, she likely wasn't equipped to help him handle the complexities of life under a microscope. Growing up as T.I.'s son came with its own unique set of pressures, and without his parents regularly in the picture, King may have faced an isolating experience despite being surrounded by a famous family. And it shows. Over the years, King's actions have drawn waves of public criticism. Who could forget his viral stunt involving the one-chip challenge with a homeless man? It wasn't just a bad look. It was an incident that sparked serious backlash and raised questions about his judgment. Add to that the uproar over his dramatic dental makeover, and it starts to paint the picture of someone struggling to find his footing both within his family and in the public eye. And then there's his out-of-the-blue challenge to the late rapper Julio Fulio for a boxing match. For some, it was a laughable publicity stunt. For others, it was another glaring example of King's knack for inserting himself into unnecessary drama. The move was eyebrow-raising at best, especially considering the volatile nature of public feuds in the music industry. It's becoming increasingly clear that King Harris has been navigating a minefield of controversy, often stepping into dangerous situations without fully grasping the potential fallout. One incident that fueled even more backlash was a heated shouting match King got into with an employee at a mini-mart. The argument, caught on camera, quickly went viral, showcasing King's entitled and disrespectful attitude, according to critics. The footage spread like wildfire online, and many saw it as yet another example of King's knack for finding himself in trouble, even during seemingly mundane moments. Then there was the unforgettable drama at an NFL game. King got into a fiery argument with fans in the stands, escalating the situation to the point where his father, T.I., had to step in. In a public and shocking display, T.I. put King in a headlock to defuse the situation, a moment that became symbolic of the struggles both father and son were facing. For many, this scene highlighted King's inability to control his temper and T.I.'s challenges as a parent trying to rein him in under the harsh spotlight of public scrutiny. To make matters worse, King found himself in even hotter water when he was arrested after police discovered grass in his car. The news of his arrest sent yet another wave of criticism his way, especially when details emerged that King had been recording music videos brandishing firearms. The public outcry was swift, with many urging King to take a step back and rethink his actions before spiraling further. Both Boosie and T.I. publicly addressed the situation, offering a mix of tough love and caution. Boosie didn't mince words, directly calling King out and urging him to reevaluate his choices before they led to irreversible consequences. T.I., on the other hand, seemed conflicted. He tried to balance his role as a loving father and a public figure, expressing concern while grappling with how to guide his son without alienating him. From unnecessary feuds to legal missteps, King Harris's life feels like a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. His repeated brushes with controversy paint a picture of a young man desperately trying to find his place, yet consistently choosing the wrong roads to get there. Each headline, viral moment, and public scandal underscores just how precarious his situation is, raising the question of whether he's struggling under the immense pressure of growing up in the spotlight or simply rebelling without boundaries. Are these constant controversies a veiled cry for help, or are they the consequences of a life without proper structure, discipline, or guidance? With every incident, it becomes increasingly apparent that King might be grappling with deeper issues that go beyond his public image. Even a sharp clap back to critics calling him unattractive, saying, "If I'm the ugliest mother ever in this world, what that make you?" offers a glimpse into a defensive and combative side, perhaps a product of relentless online criticism and a lack of grounding support at home. Now, with swirling rumors about King's alleged down-low lifestyle and leaked content making the rounds, many are questioning whether the Harris family's efforts to defend him are truly supportive, or a calculated attempt to manage the narrative. Tiny, for instance, recently shared festive family photos showcasing unity and love, seemingly trying to divert attention from the growing speculation about King's paternity and personal life. In these photos, Tiny was quick to shut down the chatter, labeling the rumors as clickbait and questioning how anyone outside the family could claim to know the truth. But critics aren't buying it. Some argue this move feels more like damage control than genuine transparency, as whispers about King's preferences and leaked photos continue to gain traction online. When you piece it all together, King's unconventional upbringing, his series of public controversies, and now the swirling rumors, it paints a picture of a young man navigating an uphill battle. Without T.I.'s consistent presence during his formative years and a reality TV facade shaping much of the public's perception of their family, it's no surprise that King's life has become a lightning rod for scrutiny. Was the Harris family too consumed with maintaining their image to notice King's struggles? Or are they now frantically trying to shield him as the spotlight grows harsher and the narrative becomes harder to control? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is clear. This story is far from over, and the questions surrounding it only continue to multiply. Why would T.I. distance himself from his son King Harris? For starters, King's behavior has been a recurring source of public embarrassment, not just for T.I., but for the entire Harris family. From heated public feuds and reckless choices to brushes with the law, King's actions have repeatedly clashed with the image of a family built on respect, unity, and success. For someone like T.I., whose brand is rooted in his authority as both a rap legend and a father figure, King's controversial antics might be testing the limits of his patience. Each headline chips away at the reputation T.I. has carefully cultivated, leaving many to wonder if this might be the tipping point. Then there's the elephant in the room, the persistent rumors that King might not even be T.I.'s biological son. Tiny has been quick to dismiss these claims, calling them clickbait and fiercely defending her family. But let's be real, these whispers have only added fuel to an already blazing fire, feeding into the narrative that not everything within the Harris family is as picture perfect as it seems. The fact that King spent most of his upbringing living with his grandmother rather than T.I. and Tiny has only added fuel to the ongoing speculation. Critics can't help but wonder if there's more to the story than meets the eye. Could these rumors offer an explanation for the seemingly distant relationship between T.I. and King? Or is it just another piece of drama surrounding an already complex family dynamic? The mix of embarrassment and frustration appears to be hitting its peak. With King's string of controversies, the leaked photos, the swirling paternity rumors, and the constant speculation about his preferences, it's easy to see why T.I. might feel the need to step back. Whether it's an attempt to protect the family's reputation or pure frustration with King's choices, the rift between father and son seems to be growing wider by the day. So, what's your take on all of this? Did T.I. and his family mishandle King's upbringing? Or is this simply A case of a young man rebelling against the pressures of his circumstances. Could the paternity rumors be the real reason behind their strained relationship, or is King's behavior to blame for the divide? Share your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates on this unraveling saga. And hey, before you go, check out the next video on your screen. It's even juicier than this one. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.